And good day, all you circuits, and welcome to number 54 of the First Circuit podcast. And first off, I would love to introduce you to Aethermac, Fighter, Lars, and Old Bob 10025.
Hello.
Hey. All right, and today we have a rolling topic list here. So starting out for this week, we will be discussing the Faction Warfare and No Guts, No Galaxy podcast. Also the current Faction Warfare event. Also the newest loyalty reward mechs for later on this year. A quick Battletech update. And of course, a new update, which is the new MechPacks. So stay tuned.
So first off, we have the Faction Warfare. So did you guys actually, or the No Guts, No Galaxy Faction Warfare, and Paul actually brought up something about what they're going to be doing for the global feature for the Faction Warfare, what's coming up. One of the things I actually enjoy about this is the lore and story to conflicts. You know, I'll have links down below what's going on too. But they're putting more lore into the game, which is one of my major factors of playing this game. It's what I grew up on, what I read through the books and everything. But they're adding lore story to conflicts. As you notice, the last couple ones, they have been having kind of like, fight in this planet because this is what's happening. Or this event right now is Turtle Bay, Kurita versus Smoke Jaguar, which is, according to lore, what they actually did. And so that's a good thing, very good thing they're doing to this. Yeah, what do you guys think?
So it's been, I want to say, about like a week and a half since I had listened to the podcast. So I'm just trying to dig back into my own brain muscles here of what they had all discussed about when it came to Faction Warfare. But I am liking that they are talking about putting in more story-driven items to make you want to play Faction Warfare. I am all on board with that. That's the good. Now, with me, I always do a good and a bad, you know, like kind of like if you're doing some sort of interview of some sort. They gave an example of what a possible storyline could be or is going to be. I know it's probably not definite, but I kind of hope what they were talking about in terms of story is that it was just going to be a save the princess because she got stolen from the enemy. I hope they change that. Yeah, remember that? That was basically in the podcast that they were discussing.
He's using very obvious tropes.
Yes, the obvious tropes of, oh yes, the princess has been kidnapped. Make sure to go rescue her before the bad guy holds her for ransom or kills her or does whatever. And I was like, and so during the podcast, I was like, yay, story. Oh.
Well, those are the standard conflicts you have in most stories. Is you know that kind of thing. But
I mean, he's only being he's being deliberately vague, and obviously the point was step one. Oh, a faction kidnaps the princess, and one faction tries to rescue. The one that lost them tries to rescue them. If that faction fails, then there's a ransom, and then future conflicts they can do stuff from that. But
true.
The podcast, the No Guts No Galaxy podcast, was 2 hours long, and that was, of course, after extensive editing. So who knows how long this podcast originally ran for and how much they cut out. But,
well, look, we try to put it under 1 hour just because people got stuff to do.
Yeah. So their first point that they hit on was that what most people are asking for is more lore within Battletech there. Within Faction Warfare, and so this is why the recent events they've been tying it to stuff that has been happening in the lore. I'm not sure necessarily there's a few bits and pieces here and there that they're doing, but in the end, it's still mostly the same. Like there's a token effort. It feels like they're doing planet descriptions. I think they're actually making events more than just sort of randomly two factions are fighting. There's actually a name to it at least. But even with the current event, the Turtle Bay, they did some weird nebulous sort of transmission thing, and then just went straight into the event. And it's the Turtle Bay aftermath, and it talks about the Turtle Bay massacre. Now, I'm not familiar with the lore, but just these few couple of lines doesn't really get me too involved. But obviously, an essay might not be much better. But it's named after a thing that happened in lore, but that doesn't mean it's that different.
It's better than nothing. It's better than go over here, fight this planet, do basically with no type of lore like whatsoever. At least you're putting something like into it. And the picture they did have for this was just phenomenally great. I love that picture that they used for Turtle Bay. And yeah, you basically there's only so much stuff you can do for a game that has a really bad engine design. And they could tweak here and there. They could have it like where how many units got killed on one side, then you get all, and like you get a free mech, whatever, basically, or the whatever prize it is. They can only do certain things with the engine design that they have. So I'm not really concerned about that. I'm just more concerned about getting new people into faction warfare and actually having some type of reasonable way, just a reason why to fight on these planets instead of just like I said, fight on this planet and we have no information, no nothing, and you just go over there and get a food pellet. And that's what they had before. The last 3 events they've been having have at least some type of lore involved into it. I mean, and they can't really change the engine for that kind of stuff, though. At least I think, But at least it's something, and that's what I give them props on.
At least they correctly identified how they can appease the community, and they can make slight pushes or token efforts towards it and get people appeased that way. Though, as I said, at least for the most part, at least with this podcast, it's all a wait and see. And whilst there's some sort of ideas here and there, I personally don't feel like, just it happens to be named the Turtle Bay aftermath incident. It doesn't necessarily really get me into the lore or help expand this universe or anything like that.
Yeah, it'd be kind of nice that because it's based on something that did happen in lore and it's already been documented, if they do like a Cliff's Notes of the story or link it to something.
That's a good idea, actually. That's a really good idea.
Great.
So that way, those of us who are in the game to play big stompy robots with custom loadouts can actually go and get some reading in.
Yeah, you could do Cliff's Notes version. You could also have just at the very least even a paragraph written by each faction, sort of appealing for mercenaries and whatnot to help fight this battle for X reasons. Just a bit more flavor to who we're fighting for and why. And they do at least sort of mention that, and this is something they claim at least is like eventually they're hoping to have it so it's a bit harder to jump from faction to faction maybe, though. They're a bit 50-50 on that. And they also say stuff like, instead of just sort of, clicking, when an event happens, instead of just sort of clicking cancel contract, accept Karitan contract, for example, you get like a menu and you select, one option will sort of be, we need to take down these clan dogs. And the other one is we must reclaim, the inner sphere or something like that. So just make it a little bit more lore-y.
Yeah, so now, since it is more lore-driven, Bob, do you have any information about what the Turtle Bay was?
No, I don't actually, dude. I can only memorize so much, man.
I was just asking, man. I didn't know if you knew or not. So, but I think kind of what Biter and Aether were saying were like, I like that they're trying.
Yeah.
Now, granted, this is like, this is not their newest faction warfare update. This is not what they're talking about in the podcast. No. So it's still going to be a little bare bones. But in terms of trying, I like what they've done. If they continue to do story-driven things, I would like to see them do more media stuff with it. So I like the idea of the transmission. I actually still need to listen to it. But that gives you some sense of immersion to the event that's happening. I think it'd be also interesting is that whenever this event is done, they could have a video transmission from both made sides, from both sides of whichever side wins. You watch that transmission.
That'd be kind of cool.
And then maybe pending at the end of that transmission, that then evolves into the next event, and then you have a continuous loop of event. Continuing over.
Transmission, of course, requires a lot of work, which is why, at least why I'm always suggesting stuff like paragraphs, just flavor text at the very least.
True.
At least the big through line of a lot of this podcast, though, was they're not putting a huge amount of resources in, but they want to be able to sort of tune it up and do, very little amount of work, but get a lot of out of it. So
Yeah, and I think we may have touched on it in the past, where PGI is not a large company, so staffing they might not have the effort to do a lot.
Yeah.
But just in the long run, if they happen to have a chance to do it, I think something like having a end game transmission, depending on who the victor is. You play that transmission. You give us a link to like a YouTube or like a SoundCloud link. You listen to it. You get engrossed in it, maybe a little bit more than you would. And then again, next month or a few weeks down the road, you could then reference this, and it could be like an ongoing saga of time of lore stuff.
Or, I'm just thinking with the transmission things, it's like even just having a cool image posted on the site, like Karita wins, and you got, a very triumphant Karitan general looking person, standing by some mechs. It's a nicer capstone getting, oh, hey, I've got a few million C-bills, with that general pop-up whenever you get something.
Yeah.
Exactly, because the extra, we know, quoted food pellet, that's the same for any event. It doesn't feel like I've really given much effort to any side. Which at this point, guys, should we just segue into the faction warfare event? I feel like we're going in that direction because we probably should focus on the podcast a little bit.
So the first thing was pretense towards making sure there's more lore stuff, which I think the community will quite appreciate, even if they're quite limited. I think just a bit more work towards at least text should be quite achievable. They've naming these things has gone a long way.
Yeah.
Though, obviously, there's slightly a little more that you could do than just naming the thing. The other bigger thing that they've even Paul has released, I think, a video about is changing the queue system for faction warfare. Quite rightly, at least, I think, just like in quick play. Groups, of course, are much more coordinated than solo puggies. And if you've got a 12-man group and if you try and find a match for them as quickly as possible, the quickest way to do it is to find 12 puggies. But that's not a fair fight. But that is what's going on currently in faction warfare. So they're planning to institute something very similar to the Solaris system, whereupon everybody sits in the queue and waits until the timer goes down, reaches 0, and then the matchmaker tries to throw everyone into the most equal balanced games it can possibly find, with groups against groups, obviously, and puggers versus puggers, with an ELO system to somewhat roughly judge how good individual players are or groups are and make it fair.
It's not bad, actually. I like that idea a lot better than, just like you said, throwing 12 pre-mades into 12 pugs, and then the pugs just lose interest. And this will actually help out new players getting to like the game, because they're not just get waffle stomped by that group. And I think that's a better idea, much better idea going into the future for faction warfare. Much better idea.
Yeah, consolidate all the buckets into a waiting list.
Yeah.
Well, there's only, when you go invasion, there's always just that one bucket. And what it does right now is the quickest it finds the games as quickly as possible for you. I'm in two minds about this. Obviously, this system will be better if there's a sufficient player base playing faction warfare at the time. But at least personally, I find the Solaris system a little bit throttling towards my interest, because there's times, where you're sitting in the queue, you wait for the 2 minutes, and the 2 minutes are up and you didn't find a match, and now you know exactly how long you have to wait. Whereas something like the quick play system or the current system, you don't know if you're sitting there for 30 seconds, a minute, 5 minutes, half an hour. And my question at least is, whilst it is a better system, is there a sufficient player base, or usually in faction warfare? Will this system, for example, at least when there's not an event going on, there's still a fair number who do quite like doing faction warfare.
Yeah.
This change, I don't know how big the player base is, but if it's small enough, that could actually kill a lot of people's investment in it.
Now they did actually. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
And at least when there's such a small player group base, you just wanted the quickest match, because in the end, it was your 8-man group and 16 puggies, and it's just going to throw them together anyway. Why wait the 2 minutes?
I'm reading for the participation to the choice of conflicts. You could switch like overall.
Yep.
Now the freelancer merc and loyalist thing, that all got screwed up over time, and so basically it's really like everyone's just merking it. They could jump between sides,
This is
constantly.
The next,
the next
this
step.
is the next big topic.
Yeah.
So, anyway, as always, it's a trade-off between how useful the system is and how practical it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's go into the third big topic, I think, which was they're trying to do lots of renovations towards freelancers, mercs, and loyalists.
Yeah, the merc units, most of the time, actually, people just take merc units because they get flipped between sides. They can do whatever they want, basically. Now, from what I'm reading here, the merc unit requires a group of 2 or more. So in essence, I might have to join Larsh's group or he'll join mine. Join me, Larsh. Because either way, if we go to start playing, so we have to be in group of 2, which is kind of interesting. I don't know if that's going to go over too well with a lot of the community. Being a loyalist, go in solo and do whatever you want to do, but you're kind of stuck at that being, say, like Kurita. So I don't know if you actually can change over from loyalist to, say, like Kurita to loyalist, like Spoke Jaguar, just instantly like we do now, because we're merking it. I don't know if you can do that or not, but you do get 5% bonus XP for the games for being freelancer or merc units. But I don't know if that's gonna hurt a lot of that's gonna have a lot of butt hurt for a lot of different people. At least for me too, because I'm a merc guy and I just want to go do what I want to do type thing without being like restricted down to being a loyalist. I wouldn't mind being a loyalist if they actually had some quirks that would make it yes, I'm a loyalist to Kurita. That's all I'm gonna be for the rest of my life. That I wouldn't mind that at all. But then we match based off the SSR. Yeah, so
at least in the podcast, they do mention stuff like we want to possibly do more in-depth loyalty rewards. So a part of it would be if you're a loyalist, I'm guessing it's something like and you're in Kurita. Kurita really likes it when you kill people up close with SRMs, for example. Because I think they're quite the aggressive ones. Whereas if you're in Davian, you earn more. Like if you get a kill, it's like let's just say roughly 10 points. But if you get a kill with SRMs with Kurita, they would really like that because they like killing people at close range. And if you kill someone with LRMs, you only get 5 points or something like that.
Is that what he said?
No, that's not what he said. I just came up with a more
I was like, whoa,
realistic example.
Because that'd be really cool, actually.
Yeah. I think they were talking very much in generalities rather than high numbers. But and they said also there'll be things like other factions would dislike you doing. So the faction like standing far, far away and you kill people with SRMs, they go, oh, that's not our kind of guy. Which does bring more personality to the different factions, and you're sort of getting more reputation or less reputation with individual ones. And like if you kill a faction's mechs, they would you'll actually lose reputation with them again or something like that. And they also said that I think this one is a bit token. Is like, oh, we're going to add like more faction specific stuff to the leveling up rewards. So like there's always that XP bar that just grows, and you go from a recruit to your recruit level 1, whatever, etc.
To like general.
Until eventually the general of the Cretan forces, or whatever. But and I'm thinking what they're saying there is you get you'll get an extra Cretan warhorn now. Ooh. If you're a loyalist, but yeah, I think there are. I sort of don't really care at all about the freelancers, mercs, and loyalists. Honestly, they're all kind of token attempts at really differentiating the systems. But at the end of the day, all you want to do is there's one queue, you jump in it,
smash people,
and smash people in the face.
Well, like that got lost when they actually made the queues into clans versus like IanDresarie, because literally after that, I haven't noticed anyone like I'm Kurita, we're Kurita, and they're like that's it, or we're Davion. I haven't after as soon as they did that, I think it died as far as like being individual house units into I'm IanDresarie, your clan, and that's it. That's all it is now, or having some type of like ownership of a house or something like that, and it pretty much died after that.
But their proposed changes make a lot of things much more awkward, which at least personally I'm not a fan of. So a merc unit has to have at least 2 players, as we've mentioned. Now, does that mean my merc unit of 1 suddenly just gets deleted, or will it carry on and I just have to never leave that unit? Who knows? But that's just a bit of a nuisance, and I'm not sure how it will really work. How do you guarantee you've got 2 to start with?
Yeah.
It's just a pain. Freelancing, for example, is really restricting in some respects because you can't play in group queue. You can't group up with friends as a freelancer.
Well, that's in that's for is that for quick play or faction warfare? Because it doesn't say
For
about
faction warfare, a freelancer cannot enter queue in the group. That's at least one of the ideas they have on the table.
Yeah.
So that's really restrictive, and at least a big draw for faction warfare is playing with friends. Even though you're not all in the same merc unit, you just group up and play. But
Yeah, because our Discord group, man, we're a mishmash of people.
Yeah.
That would actually make us not play faction warfare at all at that point.
just don't be a freelancer. You'd have to force people to either be the correct loyalist or join one of your merc units.
Well, like if they have it where you could just jump between being the loyalist from Karita to Davion or from Davion to Smoke Jaguar, what's the point of being loyalist, type thing. So, basically normally have like the 7-day thing, but people were being pissed off because it had 7 days to go and break your contract, being a loyalist and all that kind of stuff.
I like that 7-day thing because it
I
really
do
made
too.
you feel like, oh, I'm this unit for this week.
But a lot of people got pissed off.
Yeah,
sorry.
That's a shame.
Yeah, a lot of people got pissed off because like our group, our group, we're like half clan, half inner sphere, or actually, I'm sorry, 20% like it is for 80% clan. So like, we're just like fighting, like, okay, what are we gonna do, guys? We can't be together, type thing. So I don't know if that's gonna work out well as far as this. I mean, if they got, I don't know if actually getting rid of freelancer, merc, and loyalist would be the idea. Or something like that, because this is very restricting. Freelancers kind of enter the group in a queue. That's going to kill us.
Yeah.
Being a merc unit, you have to be 2 or more. That's going to kill us. And we're not all. And we're like a mishmash. Like I'm Karita, Ian is Davion. You're and what do you like? Larsh.
Oh, I'm whatever the day and time
Okay,
is.
whatever.
I don't even care.
But like we're all different types of groups, and so this is going to kill us as far as like hanging out together, doing things. I don't know if that's going to work or not. I don't know.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, it does make some sense to always have restrictions, like to make the 3 different groups different. You want to make it a little awkward for each of them. So freelancers can't group up. Merc units have to at least have 2 people, and loyalists, I think, lose reputation if they become a turncoat and keep jumping from faction to faction.
But if they have like Karita versus Davion thing, but you're Steiner, like, well, I'm missing out. This kind of sucks. Basically, that's going to hurt it as well too. They got to have something that includes I don't want to sound like a certain way, but that you have to include people like into this, like into the events, because you'll be butthurt if you're a Steiner or say Lau or something like that. You're like, well, I can't play now, man. Well, I'm losing out on a whole event. And that I don't think that's good. I don't think that's good at all.
At the end of the day, at least, I'm much more a fan of faction warfare being much more open, because there's an issue with having enough players around, getting people to consistently play faction warfare enough. I don't think you need to throw more barriers in the way, particularly when the little suggestions and improvements they're doing, like are all these extra constraints really worth the 5% extra C bills?
No,
maybe, but
no.
I'm really not enthused by it, honestly.
Well, the freelancer gets XP, the merc gets C bills, but and the loyalist gets nothing, pretty much.
I don't get to play with any of my friends, but at least I got 5% more XP.
If it's like that, I think that's going to kill faction warfare a lot more. Basically, and a lot of people are going to be butthurt, including myself.
Yeah, this is a bit off topic, but I'll just try and quickly say it, is that I think to make these roles really actually play a part in all the stuff people talk about, planets having a meaning, etc., you sort of really want to do you can't just do a tiny little change. This, it will require a lot of work. And in my mind, I'm sort of imagining something like Shogun Total Wars multiplayer.
Yeah.
In that one, you made a general, your own avatar, so to speak. It had a map of Japan, and you quote unquote conquered it. You're going across and gathering units, etc., etc. It had its own little side of meta game where you leveled up your general and leveled up your army and this, that, and the other. That, of course, is a lot of work, and I think that's way beyond what PGI is looking at right now. But I think that is something you need to do for faction warfare. So it's the kind of thing where if you're a loyalist, you sign up with the loyalists, and it's sort of like you start on one planet and you fight missions to gain influence enough to get resources from extra planets. And all it does is help you. It sort of it grinds up an XP bar, and you get more loot bags faster. The more territory you have influence over in that faction, something like that.
I don't know.
That would mean, that's just at least my initial idea.
There's no way
So,
PJ would be able to do that though.
Well, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. But that is the way. If you want faction warfare to work, you need to just sort of separate all the players and have them do their own little mini campaigns and balance that. Because at least for me personally, this is never going to be an EVE Online where I control certain planets, have these assets and resources everywhere. MWO, that's even more of an ask. Like, and what happens is I'm just one tiny little person in a big giant war, and then never even if they have good descriptions and give nice rewards, it's like, oh look, the Cretan bar is all the way over there. Or Cretan is really losing scouting. I've been playing scouting and winning all the matches, and we still lost horribly.
Well, they did that in MechWarrior 4. Like, we actually had it where every planet produced either jump points you can use to jump different planets, mech points to go ahead and build mechs, and then C bills to actually purchase mechs.
But is that multiplayer?
Yeah, actually, it was multiplayer. We had I think about 3,000 or 4,000 people playing, and the whole map was up for grabs. Like, Davia had their little thing, but they could expand to the periphery. The clans came in; they could expand anywhere they want to. They could fight amongst each other too. And so, like, it was complete. Then also the pirate bands. Pirates were out in the periphery, but they could go into, say, Steiner or to Lao or the whatever, basically, and then actually have contracts. Say, like, I will attack this planet if you give me 10,000 tons of mechs or something like that. Like, just all depends. Yeah. And that's and that's what we did. But the thing is, though, it took like years to complete one mission, to complete one map, though. But it was fun. It was a lot of fun. But I mean, PGI cannot do that. There'd be no way. I wish they could.
I still think. The issues with faction warfare, at least let's say so, though, there's often there's these big units that can have a huge influencing effect on which sides win or lose, and my individual contributions really don't matter. And if you're really wanting to do these 3 different separate career paths, I think having everyone connected to one system is really hard to make that system engaging. Whereas if eventually, if PGI has enough resources or puts enough time into it, making 3 separate mini games for individual players that they're doing their own little personal, campaign, makes a lot more sense, with the map generally, not changing unless for the big events.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go down the rest of them real quick, because I think we're running low on time too.
I mean, that's most of.
Yeah.
I remember from the podcast. There's lots of bits and pieces here and there. They went through the community list, and most of the points were, of course, their responses were, well, it's nice to talk about having more drop decks, for example, but it's nice to say that, but obviously it's a lot on our end to fix that kind of problem.
Yeah.
And they talked about, we have a very long, if we want to fix a bug, I think they said they took a very long time to do stuff like that, because someone has to go around, find the bug. That takes a lot of time. Then they have to program the fix, and then they have to sort of bake the game, which takes a couple of hours, and then they can see if it's actually been fixed. So when people say it's just just change this number to another number, and they're like, well, with the pipeline we've got, it's a lot harder than you might expect.
Yeah, it takes a lot of time to fix all the bugs.
Like, I'm reading down on the community thing, they're actually talking about coffers for unit management as having taxes for a unit, and then also you could C-bill transfer between players under community notes, which would be interesting, but it could be abused too at the same time. The let's see here, map alterations. VoIP for talking LP can be used as a currency, which is loyalty points. Obviously, for being a loyalist, you probably get loyalty points for being inside that thing for X amount of time or something like that. So you use that for currency as well. I don't know what you could buy, but we'll see.
Anyway, it's a lot of talking about a system that we can't really actually change that much, at least with the scope that PGI is looking into. And I think at least they're talking about a more restrictive searching system. They're talking about more restrictive different, the loyalist mercs and freelancers, etc. And I'm like, well, this personally doesn't improve faction warfare at all. The only improvement was you named your events, and all the rest is just making it more awkward for me to play faction warfare, honestly. So at least personally, my belief is they'll need to come back at this when they actually have the resources for it.
Well, like we'll see, like over time. It just all depends what they're doing. But I have noticed they have been doing a lot more faction warfare events because they're probably gaining all the numbers right now and figuring out, okay, well, if this works like this works like that, and so they're gaining numbers in the background, and then they'll use that to go base whatever they're going to be doing later on in the future for faction warfare.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
So next on the list is faction warfare event. What do you know?
Turtle Bay.
Turtle Bay.
Yeah, so we did touch on it a little bit, but yeah, grab
We should
bags.
actually touch on, it's the big draw is loot bags, which if you get 50 or 100 match score, you earn, and you can of course both loot bags per match. So
Yeah.
75 bags to grab. There's also, as always, if you pre-order packs, like the new MECHS we'll be discussing, the Vapor Eagle, and if you have the tournament supporter pack, you get bonus loot bag redeems as well. So plenty of MC, C-bills, and other cockpit T type items. If you get enough loot bags, 150 throughout the entire event, I think it is, you can get
A champion mech.
from a certain, half limited selection, I think it is.
Yeah, that's
and
kind of
if
cool.
you finish your faction-related goals, you also get paint jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the other part is if you get kills and KMDDs as Karita or Smoke Jaguar, 25 in total, both of them tallied up together, you can unlock one of that faction's camo pattern. So for me, I managed to do both on both sides during scouting. And by the way, at least in faction warfare, it's always skirmish in invasion, and you can still earn the things in scouting. That's the quickest way. Grind it in scouting.
Oh god, yeah, that would really suck if you had to do it in normal faction warfare. That would be a long ass time.
Yeah.
But they do have two different faction plays. You have faction play skirmish, and then also then later on they have quick play queues. So you don't actually have to do. You can skip faction if you don't like it, and then go to quick play queues, but you can't get the extra, champion mech later on. And the quick play queues start on the 5th of September. So right after the faction play skirmish ends, you can jump in that and then get your loot bags to go get the 150 if you want to.
Yeah, because the ones for quick play are termed as the aftermath.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah.
so not too bad.
The second phase is 5 days of faction warfare and 5 days of quick play. So if you are really only just into quick play, at least there's a loot bag event coming around eventually.
But I've been having fun in faction warfare. Basically, like even on scouting and normal games, like normal faction warfare, I've been having a good time. I've been noticing not many asshats are playing, and it's just really good people. I mean, just absolutely amazing, just cool dudes that are playing faction warfare. I mean, I think all the toxic people actually pretty much left or got banned. So it's been a great time. I've had a blast. so just let you know, guys. Just let you know is jump in faction warfare. Check it out. It's actually pretty fun.
Yeah,
I will say.
yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I've had a lot of fun playing with full groups, and they're in scouting, like 4-man teams, where we all, do like micro pulses on nobles or streaks on we play for one very strong win condition, and we usually stomp most of the competition.
I think we lost like twice last night or something, like out of like 20 games.
Times, yes. What I will say though is at least it isn't necessarily still that great for the solo pug experience, because you are being matched up against groups, of course. Even in scouting, and solo pugs can take some really stupid builds and stupid mechs into scouting. So
what's a guy with no armor last night?
Oh yeah, we came across an ER large laser sniping hunchback in a sphere hunchback who had taken no armor on his center torso.
Yeah.
Oh my god. How?
I don't know, man. I don't know. We saw him, we're like, get him!
Cutting armor for laser rooms and double heatsink, maybe?
I had hypothesized at least he said strip the mech, strip it of all armor, strip it of all equipment, and he built up.
Oh, and
forgot to put in for armor,
but he forgot to send the source.
Oh my god.
His friends also did say that, he was a little high.
No, okay. No. That's right. I forgot about that.
Fair enough.
That's good. That's fair. That's fair enough.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
I really enjoyed the scouting. I'm glad I was able to do it. The previous events have been forcing you away from scouting, when I actually really enjoy scouting much more, at least to get, it's a lot easier to just get 4 friends together and have some fun scouting. So
like
it does
12.
get a little samey for a while. Like 50 matches of scouting is a little...
Yeah.
it's a little hard to
Yeah.
follow.
I have I was doing that on the live stream just now, and I was like, I'm getting beat.
Yeah.
I have noticed that the games aren't totally one-sided like they were seeming like the last couple of events, where the IS streak boats were just like, okay, and flush the clanner. Okay, well, the clanner hops up to some place where he can't get shot at by streaks very easily. All right, well.
Well, it's kind of funny looking at the bars, of course, saying the how much one side is winning or losing. It was Kurita is absolutely stomping on Invasion, at least last I looked.
It still is.
Yeah, and at least the bar is really far on their side right now. And in scouting, they're absolutely tanking it.
Yeah.
But I did see earlier, I think Smoke Jaguar was really winning early on in Invasion as well. And there's also the thing going on, kill death ratio and win-loss ratio for the two factions, if you remember that.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Yeah, it's at the very top of the page.
So when the whole event is done, it's going to, at least it'll count and say, okay, Smoke Jaguar, if you got a positive win-loss ratio, all the Smoke Jaguars get 4.1 million C-bills and roughly 73k GXP. Whereas if Kurita gets a better kill-death ratio, they get the same kind of reward. Now,
so
if this is only for scouting, though, for skirmish, you win when you have more kills, and you lose when you have less kills. So, technically, there is a way that both could qualify, but for the most part, only one of them is going to get this. I don't know why it has to be. I guess at least you can see, wins, losses, and kills and deaths this way. But it just seems weird to have them have different requirements.
Who knows? I mean, at least they got something going on that's different from the normal food pellets they normally give. So it's actually some type of like quest. Save the princess. So just like we're talking about.
I think it's the same as what they've sort of done before, where the winning side, gets an extra a bunch of stuff, but they only gave that like to loyalists before, and that was kind of meh. With this, though, I mean, whoever turns out to be winning, which in the end might be Smoke Jaguar, I just happened to switch to Smoke Jaguar a few hours beforehand. Who knows? I just slipped to that faction for some reason.
Oh, jeez.
4 million C-bills, why not?
Oh, God, that'll be interesting. Yeah, basically, the last day of the event, right before it ends, you switch over to whatever side's winning and go, look, I got 4 points. Yeah, oh boy, that's interesting. I never thought about that. I don't think about these things because I don't like doing that. I like playing by the rules, unfortunately.
All right. To wrap up this, though, because we got plenty of stuff to cover.
Yeah.
As always, PGI, they love their sales, it seems, and this event is no exception.
Where?
You get bonus MC faction pattern stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Cheaper. The usual type stuff.
All the war horns, all the patterns, all the colors are on sale for the factions. Pretty much in one giant pot.
Which is fine. Basically, gotta make some money, but yeah, there's a lot of sales going on.
Can you buy paint for C-bills yet?
Not
certain paints are available for C-bills.
Only like 4 of them. 4 of them, basically.
Got all those.
Yeah, actually, I just spent 1,000 MC to get black for my mechs, like on my alt account. That sucked. That really sucked, dude. Okay, so right, Turtle Bay is done. Next, loyalty. I think. Yes.
Rewards.
They did a pretty good job on this. Well, okay, let me go ahead and rephrase that. One of the mechs I like. The rest of the mechs are kind of blah.
Which one do you like, Bob?
I like the ECM Warhammer. Yeah, the ECM Warhammer is one. I'm going to be using that one. It's be fun to play, and for the simple reason it's a laser vomit with ECM. That's kind of cool. And plus they just updated like ECM to 120 instead of only 90, so that's going to definitely help as well.
Sounds like an Intersphere Hellbringer.
They did bring out the jumping. Hey, I'm happy with it. It's fine. And I won't lore mech this one because the PPCs are normally in the arms. They'll put them in the chest, but still. But they did come out with a couple lore, or not lore. I'm sorry. They did come out with a couple of mechs that are kind of good. The Rifleman with jump jets, cool idea, awesome, I guess. But like I said, the other ones are kind of iffy. I'm not too keen on the other ones. But if you do the eligibility, you can check on this page as well to see if you are eligible to get these rewards. If you purchase MC, you get the first one, obviously. But with the other ones, you have different packages you have to go purchase. What's that?
All right. Just to I'll do my comprehensive kind of
go ahead.
thing because there's a lot of things at least to keep in mind. So it's just like last year with the rewards. So if you played 100 matches, whether that be quick play, faction play, or Solaris, if you do 100 of them, you get 2 billion C-bills and mech pay. That's quite nice, even if you're a free-to-play player. And
cupcake.
Yes, the cupcake. If you've purchased MC or the Solaris 7 Hero bundle, maybe a dropship bundle as well, I think, you will be rewarded with the Javelin. This one has 6 machine guns, so there's not many machine gun Innisphere lights, which is kind of neat, and this will eventually be out for C-bills as well, so it gives the Innisphere a little bit more MGs, but
you can stick LBX2s on it and have some fun with that.
Yeah, you could. Ultimately, though, if you're going MG lights, you go with Clan because Innisphere spend double the tonnage to even equip their MGs, and they have the really much more fragile engines.
Yeah.
So it's neat, I guess, but it's no Missile Irby.
Missile Irby, yeah.
Which was last year's reward. Lots of people just got like the smallest MC package to get that Irby because people love their Irbies. But those Javelins, I don't think there's the same love. Now, for Innisphere and Clan, it's the usual type of thing. If you get, just standard packs. How many standard packs is it this time? I think it's just like one.
I'm not sure exactly.
Okay, go ahead and check this out real quick.
It's a la carte, resistance 2, like Urban Mechs. I'm not sure if it actually says like standard pack, so. But it probably is, though.
For just standard packs.
Okay.
Obviously, if you get collector's ultimates, it includes the standard pack. But I'm saying, if you buy one standard pack for any clan mech or any Innisphere mech, you qualify for the basic rewards. And it's also it counts as well for like resistance hero mechs, clan hero mechs. So you can spend just $10 and qualify for this reward. For Innisphere, they get the rifleman. This one can actually equip, I think, 4 jump jets. It's hard points though. It's just 2 energy and 1 ballistic in each arm, so it's very starved for hard points. It'll be quite difficult to turn it into a good jump sniper or to do a hefty loadout with that thing.
It's a legend killer with 2 PPCs.
You could do, you can pick some bigger weaponry and try and have some fun with it. But I'm not too enthused about the rifleman, honestly. It's not a great reward. It's not like that loyalty Griffin. At least the ballistics of the Griffin was kind of more unique. Just jump jets isn't that special. The clan reward is a much bigger deal because it, of course, affects all Night Gears eventually, which will be a Night Gear with an ECM side torso. The other hard points are, not unique. So, if you have purchased any clan standard pack, any pack, anything really in the, anything from the store mostly, you're going to be getting an ECM Night Gear, which is pretty neat for the most part. I will say, at least with the standard packs and also the top tier packs, it is a real shame that if you got Solaris 7 Heroes, it doesn't even count as a standard pack.
What?
That's weird. The dropship deals, the Solaris 7 Hero mechs, those are on the same level as just an MC purchase. Like, it's not the same as purchasing the free standard pack. Yeah, I think you should. I mean, the barrier to entry for these most basic packs is so low. Most people, hopefully, if you pay a little into the game, will get them. But if all you got was the Solaris 7 Heroes, it's a real pity to not get Innisphere bottom tier reward.
I mean, that's like $30 though, basically, instead of like the standard packs being 20, that you should actually maybe get, 2 of them or something like that. Top tier
and
for
the dropship deals, particularly if a whole bunch of assaults. That's quite a bit of cash. Like, they have been a loyal customer, at least, for a basic reward they should be.
Oh, yeah,
I don't see, at least for these most basic packs, it feels really restrictive to not include those. And I'm a little sad and disappointed about that. At least I will say it's not just the mechs that have been released last year. As long as within the year you have purchased any pack, they're happy. At least they're not being too dickish.
Yeah.
So it's a wide range, and there's plenty out there to choose from.
Yeah. All right, and the next part is the top tier rewards for Inner Sphere and Clan, and this is where it gets a lot more convoluted and needlessly annoying. So if you get the biggest clan, like when the clans did their invasions, they got the huge packs where you could buy, all the mechs that are coming out in one go for $200 or something. You get your top tier reward as long as you bought that, within this year. Inner Sphere also had the Mauler come out with, what was it, Wolfhound and something else.
Yeah.
The big packs, if you purchase the biggest one, you will be getting the top tier reward. Though, funnily enough, again though, if you get the you don't get the $200 clan pack, you get the one just below it, $180, whatever it is. You do not get a top tier reward. You're not loyal enough.
Ouch.
Yeah, that's a big ouch. I mean, kind of Josh, he did a nice video on it where he said, you could spend several $1,000s and not get the rewards. You're not a good customer yet.
That's actually not cool, though, to tell you the truth. If that's like that, and pretty much it is. So I don't know, kind of like up in arms about that.
It's very particular. But anyway, those big packs aren't really worth it, honestly. It's sort of it's like buying the ultimate pack. It's a ridiculous amount of money.
See, the thing though, like all these packs, everything else, you can buy them for C-bills, and if you grind enough, you can get them. But the thing is though, like with the resistance packs, it comes with the colors and the patterns, which is worth a lot. So if you do actually want these packs, I'll recommend getting the resistance 2 because they actually have the camo patterns and the colors and plus the cockpit items that do come with it. And so that's one of the things you probably want to look at in case you're going, I must get the top tier reward. Get the resistance ones. Either dump those mechs you already have and just get the mech base. So
okay,
I don't know.
So big packs, I generally don't advise people getting those. The ultimate pack's incredibly expensive. The next barrier, next way you could do it is get 2 collector packs. Any 2 collector packs. So this is a bit like the standard pack, but you get the extra special variant with the C-bill boost. And instead of 30 days premium time, 60 days. So this one is a bit more reasonable. Plenty of people do like picking up the collector packs. They like getting the first, like for example, I got the collector pack for the Piranha because I knew the MG one, the first one that gets the C-bill boost, would be one of my go-to light mechs. But the only other way to do it is if you get 6 hero mechs, reinforcement mech add-ons, basically. And this is the thing I think I agree with kind of Joshy on. These 3 avenues are completely mutually exclusive. You can get, all the standard packs and the collector pack. You can get, 5 of the most expensive heroes. You can get just below all the biggest packs and spend thousands of dollars on the game. But because they don't overlap, because it doesn't even include standard packs at all, they are really locking you out of these top tier rewards unless you're willing to spend the extra dosh on these less valuable packs. Honestly, at least for me, the best value for money is standard packs, and that's what I get them every single time. I am quite a loyal customer, but I'm not, at least currently, getting either of the top tier rewards, I don't think, because I haven't bought enough collector packs. I'm sorry.
Have you seen the ultimate reward, like what they are? As far as like what they are, like I don't know much about these. If you get everything, basically,
Quickly with the top tiers, though, yes, there's the ECM Warhammer, 6 energy hardpoints spread all across the side torsos and arms with 1 missile hardpoint. It's kind of like a free-to-play Tempest, but it will probably have weaker weapon quirks and weaker armor. So at least at the end, you can get a free-to-play Tempest, but it's going to be kind of mediocre, but it'll be okay, I guess. 6 medium lasers, MRM40 is fine. That along with the Night Geo are the most interesting mechs in the pack. The Marauder 2C... The Marauder 2C is, it's got a similar engine cap as every Marauder 2C. It's another Marauder 2C. It's not got anything special to it whatsoever. That is a great top tier reward.
Yeah, just plus 30% of C-bills.
Yep,
it's got money and a paint job.
If you bought our collector pack Marauder 2C, then you get a collector model Marauder 2C. And the thing is also, its weapons are only stuck in the arms and the center torso, which is kind of the more restrictive positions. Like it's quite nice sometimes at least being able to put some in the side torsos because they're nice high mounts and they don't get blown off as quickly. So this thing is one of the most mediocre top rewards I've seen, and it's not even a good mech. I don't see the point in it.
Maybe as always, maybe they'll give it awesome quirks, but we're not going to know until later.
Yeah. So the ultimate, you get the standard items for cockpit, clan, cockpit items, and the warhorn. So we'll figure out like what they are like when they do come out later on. I think it comes out November 13th, right? Yeah, the reward.
So if you get both top tier rewards, you get these extra few freebies.
Oh, well, hey, it's something cool for the people that actually spend money. So, like a lot of games actually don't do that. They don't do that kind of stuff, and so it's good actually PGI does this for people that actually are quote unquote whales that actually spend money on the game, that actually really enjoy the game. So here's something we can get back to you, and that's just for doing, just for spending money. So that's a good thing. It's a good thing there. Okay, so next, Battletech.
Let me just summarize this very quickly, since at least we're running a little long in the tooth, I think. Or we will be.
We'll be.
The Battletech 1.2 patch has been released. It's a lot of quality of life improvements with UI and stuff like this, and getting rid of lots of glitches. It's not that big of a change. The biggest things I've mentioned, at least, is they've reworked the morale system. They called it the resolve system now. Basically, you always start at 0, and the higher your company's morale is, the faster it builds up. So if you were 100% company morale, you started at 100% and you could use lots of powers at the start. Now powers always have to grow. You can't just spam abilities at the start, which is actually a little bit of a nerf to the player's power in the game, because it always was quite potent to be able to, at the very beginning, jump jet in and use vigilance and a precision shot.
That's what I used to do too.
Yes.
Yeah, and also as flavor, I really enjoy the new memorial wall added in the aggro.
I was just about to talk about that.
Warriors. Yeah.
The wall of Decker.
The wall of Decker.
Exactly, the wall of Decker.
That is awesome. I love how they did that. They took the community idea because everyone started making memes on Twitter about Decker dying and how he died. So they made the memorial wall on the Argo. That is so awesome. I love how Hairbrain Schemes did that. That is so cool.
The other big thing, we won't cover in full detail here, but they're releasing a beta for the new Mechwarrior abilities. So they correctly realized that Bulwark was incredibly powerful in Battletech. You just stand still and you get 50% damage reduction. You might as well take it on every single pilot. And if you haven't, why haven't you taken Bulwark?
Yeah.
Silly Nandy. So they're changing Bulwark to just improve it when you do guard and try and get that damage reduction, etc., etc. They're trying to make the abilities a lot more balanced and make things like Juggernaut. When I punch this assault mech, he goes down from initiative phase. What's it like? 1 to 1. Oh wow, he's much slower now. So yeah, they're doing lots of planned reworks. We'll probably cover that when the next. If it comes through the next patch.
There's a lot coming in.
So. Yeah, like new events and everything else too.
The most hilarious though is cooling vent. I think they're suggesting for replacing Juggernaut, where the pilot, in a very what's it called, masochistic, enjoying pain, he just vents all the coolant through his cockpit for some reason, and the mech is better at cooling, but the pilot takes a pilot injury because he's
all overheated.
Yeah.
Damn.
Let's vent into the cockpit.
That's crazy.
Best place to do it.
Hydrocarbons.
So that's it for Battletech there?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, basically we'll go more in depth when I guess Ian comes in, because I know he's live. Basically he goes live too.
There's lots more info on that one.
Yeah, definitely.
So and lastly is
MechPack number
MechPack.
101.
Yes. I'm actually highly impressed with this on layout they did for this. It's pretty cool. It's up to date. Change is really good in my eyes, no matter what it is, good or bad, because it shows that they're actually putting some effort into the game itself, and just into whatever it is. And I'm highly impressed. This is actually pretty cool. They did a really good job on presenting the packs and everything else. It was kind of mishmash as far as us trying to figure out, like, okay, where's the ultimate pack, where's the standard pack, but once you actually get used to it, though, it's really easy to go check out and go and do. So it's a good thing. I love the change on this, man. It looks gorgeous, man, gorgeous. But the charger and the Hatamochi. Unfortunately, the Hatamochi does have a sword, but obviously you can't do melee, because you'll just have melee guys, 24 mechs hanging out in one 15-meter square. So, but still, it's pretty cool. They actually got some cool mechs. I was still hoping for the Stinger and the Wasp, but I guess my hopes will be tarnished over time. Sorry, go on. Go on.
Okay. Yeah, on the layout, I'm not necessarily as much of a fan. Like the worst thing I think, just in my mind, would just be it doesn't tell me about premium time cockpit items. It only shows like
No,
I
it
have to
does.
click.
It does.
Where is
Oh,
it?
okay.
Oh yeah, it does.
Yeah.
There does it? Oh, and it's always 60
This is
days
the
time now.
View early adopter rewards.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
you have to click on that.
Well, normally we had a little
Mind it.
picture showing it, but now you got to click it, which is fine. Basically, like I said, you had to get used to the format on how they did this, the UI for it. So once you get used to it, this will be the new type of thing that we're doing, which is fine.
I don't like how this preview thing that shows all the extra stuff you're getting covers up parts of the mech. It just I'm like, what's on the other arm?
No,
Uh,
you can't theory
I don't
craft.
mind as
Can't
much.
theory craft. Oh, that's funny, actually.
Yeah. At least with this new format, it's kind of I mean, before it was a bit of a mess as well. Like it had a second column because of the collector pack.
Oh, wait. Sorry to go interrupt. You can actually just go click the click the standard pack, and then see little pictures that says View Mech. Click those, and it shows a big picture of it.
That was the same as before, but it's annoying having to do the pop-up thing.
Yeah.
Finally be able to see it.
That extra click, man, just does it for me. I just don't know.
Because at least for me personally, what I really liked before was I had at the very top was the sliding slideshow of the image of the mech. So I'm like, okay, that's how it looks. I look immediately down. Here's the pricing model. It's kind of short and squat. This one's really long because it's packing two mechs together. And then if I keep scrolling, I eventually get to the mechs. To the actual loadouts. Whereas before, I could with a very small amount of scrolling upwards and downwards, look between the look at the mech, the pricing, and what the actual mechs have on them. Whereas with this, it's just such a hassle moving between them. I'm just a lot less confused, at least personally, with this layout.
Over time will grow on you, man. Over time. Just give it some time.
Or
Well, if
just
they
do what
all-
I'm doing, and you can do split screen on your computer.
Yeah.
Because that's what I'm
That's,
doing. Split screen in it.
Oh,
Compared to
Lord.
just,
Hey, it's my workaround.
But for $55 for the Ultimate Pack, they actually went down from the normal $70, and that's kind of
Kinda.
cool. Yeah, but that's good. Still the best.
So-
Still, like we always say, it's a standard pack.
Well, the biggest
But
thing.
there's
at
also
least-
one mech missing from the reinforcement pack. The reinforcement pack
yeah.
only has
Well,
a
there's no
single extra mech.
there's no reinforcements. That's the thing. That's why Ultimate is cheaper, because you're not also buying the reinforcements.
Yeah.
If you tally it up, like $40 for the collector's pack, same as always. You add 15 for the hero, same as always, and in total, 55. Whereas before, you added another 15 for the Ultimate pack
True.
to get up to 70.
True. Still, I mean, I like UI. It's cool. It's new and it's like, cool.
It's different. I
It's
don't mind
different.
change.
I would
But,
say,
yeah.
in terms of the long-term
Viability?
long-term, it's the viability or whatever. Yeah, it's somewhat better to not have the reinforcements because there's only so many intelligences and distributions of hard points you can do, and having to do 6 each time was kind of hard to necessarily make sure every single mech had a unique identity. With this, though, they're not taking so much of the creative space away so quickly, and you can make each of these variants more distinctive with their hard points, or at least hopefully give them more quirks. Because the problem with reinforcement packs is sometimes they had to sort of give you a reason to get reinforcement packs, and the reinforcements also make it so it's really hard to make these more distinct, or there's always just that one variant who's better than everyone else.
Well, like probably what they did or saw was the numbers were pretty bad on the reinforcements. So they just said drop it because it takes a lot to go say make that mech, make the hard points and everything else. And so they dropped that because the numbers were bad, and then basically found that people were just buying the standard pack and the hero, and that's all they wanted. So so that's probably that's generally probably what's happening. Plus the time and effort to make them.
Yeah,
I guess maybe just from a quick glance, I'm just going over it for a good quick minute, putting side by side. My short review on the mechs is: you want to go get a charger, you're going to have more missiles. You want to go for the Hatmochi Chi. I almost wanted to call it a Hamtaro. You're gonna get more energy shit. I mean that's just me going side by side.
Yeah.
Well, the hero does have for the Hatamochi is like 4 missiles and 4 ballistic, and you know,
Yeah.
it's
Well,
I
a
don't know.
you know, it's
to
energy
give
boat.
Oh
to
yeah,
give
so
my
you guys have
views on
reversed.
to give my views on the mechs, at least Innosphere 80 tonners always at least have a sort of they've been an awkward spot in the meta. At least if you're taking an assault mech, you might as well take one of the really big boys like the Annihilator. And if you're taking an 80 tonner, you're just a little heavier than the 75 tonner, but everyone expects a lot more from you.
Yeah,
Because you're still an assault, yeah.
And at least as 80 tonners go, we already have the Victor, the Awesome, and the Zeus, which already fill up a lot of the roles here. And these, both of these mechs, 80 tons, both of them have kind of restrictive or awkward hard points to them. Like I'm not necessarily too greatly infused with them. So
And the last one and the hero have smaller engine caps.
also
So to look through the Hamtaro, 2 of them are
Hamtaro.
Yes. The Hamtaro has only an engine max engine of 290, which limits it to only about 60 kph. Now, the big problem with a 290 engine cap isn't necessarily your speed, but the amount of internal heat sinks. It's always nice, at least like 300 is commonly available in the Awesome, and the Awesome was already well known for a limited engine cap. These two, want to make the Awesome look good for its engine cap.
Well, I can tell you right now, the first thing they're gonna do is, in case someone gets a charger pack at the 1A1, is drop all the small lasers and get something else.
That's right. By default, it's all small lasers.
Now, I love using lore builds. I really, really do, because they're a big ass challenge versus the meta tryhard super duper dudes. But I'm not crazy enough to do 5 small lasers with a 80-ton mech, because I will just get yelled at from everybody. But yeah, that thing's going to be dropped and just replaced, basically.
Well, to be fair, with all those small lasers, you're half a gargoyle.
Still,
gargoyle, yeah.
Still, like I'm looking at going, 5 small lasers, for an 80-ton mech.
That's the meme stock build that the Charger had, but it did, at least on tabletop, make some degree of sense. It has such a powerful melee punch.
Yeah, 16 points of damage.
And so it's so tanky, it could at least, it gets close to those long-range mechs and just beats them up, which is kind of hilarious.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm crazy enough, but not that crazy, I guess.
I just like the way the Charger looks, if I want to put it out there. Just visually, I enjoy the Charger.
It kind of looks like a Victor, though.
I would say at least the Charger is a lot preferred for me than the Hamtaro. The Hamtaro has very awkward hard points in my opinion, at least. Like, you got 4, you got 2 missiles on each side torso, energies in the arm, but the energies in the arm, just a couple of medium lasers here and there, is not that special. Maybe if it has good enough PPC quirks, it'll be okay. But you already have the Awesome for PPC quirks, so why not just be an Awesome with better energy hardpoints and all that stuff? So for the most part, with the missile ones, you're going to usually, like, maybe SRM-24, but usually it's just going to be 2 big MRMs, MRM-40 in each side torso, something like that. Which is
we're going to be getting the Lerm quirks, you know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe, but anyway, it's just sort of like the Hamtaro, all the missile ones strike to me like they're usually just going to be turned into MRM mechs, and hopefully, like, this mech totally depends on whether MRM doesn't get nerfed, which, when it comes out, who knows how much BGI has nerfed all the weapon systems into the ground at that point. The most interesting is the ECM with ECM with Jump Jet 1. It only has an engine cap of 290, but ECM is something you don't see on any other IS 80 tonner.
Yeah.
And a surprise MRM 80 to the face makes you feel happy that you bought a bigger, probably squishier Tempest.
I mean, for that, like, I do see a lot of people purchasing the Hamtaro for $20, and with that you get the 28 TR, which does have the ECM jump jets, and that's kind of cool. That's not too bad, and it's not stuck behind a paywall like the normal mechs were, like with the reinforcements, and that I applaud PGF for doing.
And there's one,
and on the plus side, the CT's open, so you can stick your big lap probe in there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
there's
true.
There's one of them here as well with 3 ballistics in the side torso, which is incredibly awkward. Like, I mean, it's just hard to even use 3 ballistics. At best, you're doing like 3 rack 2s.
Yeah.
So, you're sort of taking 2 LB10s, a heavy goose with some laser backup. It's just, I just find this mech a little awkward across the board. And at least the way PGI, like a big thing to consider with both of these mech is PGI has been very cautious about giving Inner Sphere good weapon quirks and or good durability quirks. The Catapult K2 is is practically unkillable in the game right now, as we all know. And if they give these things 5 extra structure in each component, they're just going to storm the field with their 5% faster cooldown. It would be impossible for anyone to compete with these mechs. So,
well, the thing about these builds, though, like a lot of them actually from lore or from the tabletop game, bring it over to Mechwarrior Online. So like the 3 ballistic one, that is probably a 3 ballistic one that was inside tabletop. They brought it over and say, well, it has the 3 ballistic slots and therefore energy. So when it comes to us, like when we look at it, we go, okay, well, we're gonna have 3 Brak 2s and 4 ER-mean lasers or whatever we're gonna have for it, though.
The lore build only has a single AC5 on that side.
Yeah. But why? Yeah.
I think obviously PGI is cautious about giving ballistics to either side torso because this thing could be like the Victor. Oh no, the ballistic Victor.
Yeah.
And the ballistic Victor has jump jets and already has quite good survival quirks, but this thing will probably have weaker survival quirks and not have jump jets. So therefore, it cannot possibly ever be allowed to be dual heavy goose. Anyway, so it's kind of interesting if you like dual MRM mechs. The Hamamoto Chi is interesting enough pickup. The hero could pick 4 MGs in the arms. It could take big ballistics along with SRMs and be really slow but really punchy.
Yeah.
So it's got some stuff going for it, but really I'm much more enthused about the Charger. With the Charger, it's always just an energy boat thing. It kind of does what the 75-tonner mechs with lots of energy, like just like that Warhammer we've seen before. Take 6 energy, 6 medium lasers, and hammer M40, and you're good to go. And
Yeah.
that's sort of what you do with the first one, the 3K as well. The hero gives up energy hard points compared to the standard one to have jump jets. So it's really mediocre. Don't bother with the hero, I think, for the most part. And the one I'm most interested in is 3 missile side torso, 2 ballistic other side torso. You can make that into a mini Atlas.
Yeah. Charger 185.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mini
yeah,
Atlas.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you could always just go down 5 tons and be an onion and be way better, but you could be 80-ton mech and a mini Atlas. So
Hey, we want to pilot our mechs, man. We want to pilot mechs. I don't care what it looks like, but I want to pilot it.
one funny thing, at least to be said, is a lot of people look at the engine caps for the Charger in particular. It has up to 400. That is pretty neat. You can go 81 kph. You could be like the Gargoyle.
Yeah.
But there's no mask. So if you want to go for the fast 80-tonner meme, get a Skokomish.
Okay.
Oh my god, yes.
Oh,
Skokomish is good.
So, like, what do you guys think? Yay buy or nay, or like nay buy for the Charger and the Hatamochi?
I would say both are an acquired taste.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like IS 80 tons are an acquired taste.
I really enjoy some of the possible loadouts for the Charger, and I like the way it looks. It's kind of like a dopier, I don't know, kind of knockoff Highlander. I don't know about the Hamtaro. There's just it's too Gurren Lagann for me to actually invest money in.
Well, being Kurita, Hatamochi, I have to get it. So I got to get that thing. It looks awesome. I love the Japanese, think about it. So, and the Charger, like, yeah, it's acquired taste, I guess, for the Charger. But Hatamochi,
I think the
Hamtaro.
I think I'm kind of like 8th mech as well. I'm more Charger than Hamtaro. Granted, Charger's more laser vomity, but I think overall I could work with it. Yeah. Also, I do enjoy the look of it overall too. I really enjoy the Lucky 7 it's got going there.
Mm-hmm.
That's the hero mech.
I know it's only on the hero. It's a little upsetting, but
Yeah, I kind of like the camo paint schemes, just kind of.
The triangles.
Yeah, we both got the triangle things going. Yeah, I would say at least the Charger looks like it will have fairly good hitboxes. That would be quite a good selling point for it. Hamtaro. I mean, if you like the look of it, it is pretty cool. It could do some kind of cool things, but yeah, again, both are just in quiet taste.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Okay, cool deal. So, is that it, guys, for the podcast?
I think so.
I think it is. Cool. Who wants to do the outro?
All right, you can
Okay.
do it, Bob.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Okay, we're done.
Thank you for watching the First Circuit Podcast, episode number 54. And we had Biter,
Lar.
Aethermech,
Hey.
Larsh,
See ya.
and myself, Bob. Thank you everything you guys do. Thank you for watching everything. So you guys have a good night, and we'll see you on the battlefield.